On the road to the Final Four, we make a stop in Philadelphia where a spot in this Sweet 16 is on the line. It's the 3-6 matchup in the Midwest between Tennessee and Virginia. The winner will take on Iowa State next week in Chicago. A lot of orange in this matchup, and our officials, Michael Reed, Don Daly, Tony Henderson. Iowa State awaits in the Sweet 16, and we're underway from Philadelphia. Tennessee getting to work quickly. It's Bishop Boswell, a three.
That's an important three because Boswell is a good shooter who's been reluctant to shoot the ball, as Rick Barnes told us. Both these teams top 20 defensively, mostly man-to-man. If we see any zone, it'll be a surprise.
Virginia allowed 13 threes in their opening round win against Wright State. Here is Malik Thomas trying to answer, too strong, and tipped right to DeRitter. And a good start for the man we call the X Factor today.
And we talked about it. We have a Tennessee team #1 in the country offensive rebound percentage. Virginia #9. We already saw an offensive rebound, and we see Virginia, they're one of the most pressing teams in the country. They pick up full 35% of the time, try to throw you off a little bit, not necessarily make steals.
Gillespie tried the lob for Okpara, and a foul is called. That's going to go on Johan Grunlow.
And you're going to see DeRitter here. Tennessee, the shot by Boswell, the three-point shot, very important for him because they only average 6.5 threes a game. So it's very important to get other guys involved besides Gillespie and Ament.
Off the inbound, there is Ament, and he misses his first shot in tight. Thomas, transition three. Grunlow has it, and he threw it right to Estrella, but he was out of bounds first. Tennessee basketball. See his foot out right there. And more pressure from the Cavs.
Yeah, that's what they do. They pick you up full, and they're top 5 in the country in terms of how much they press.
And keep in mind, Jacoby Gillespie plays a lot of minutes, 34 minutes for the year. He is their workhorse. We'll see if Virginia can try to wear him down a little bit.
And interesting, Boswell brought the ball up that time, so I'm sure Rick Barnes is going to have Gillespie off the ball in terms of getting it up to half court. That is a great sign. And I know it's early, we say great sign for first 2 minutes of the game, but Ament did not score yesterday.
It was his first scoreless game of the season on Friday as Sam Lewis hits the front of the rim out of bounds to the Vols. Second round coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship continues tonight on ESPN and ESPN2. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. Once again, it's Boswell bringing the ball up the floor.
And they're working him, so I think that's a good move by Rick Barnes because they need Jacoby Gillespie's scoring.
Here's Ament again. And they work it around to get it in the hands of Gillespie. Gillespie, that's a deep three, not close. Rebound, scramble, Ament to the ground and grabbing his right leg as he gets up. And he kind of jogs back down the floor, something to keep an eye on as inside a foul is called. And you can see Ament is wincing again. Watch what happened to Ament on that loose ball scramble. His foot got caught underneath of DeRitter. Or check that, Dallin Hill. And as Rick Barnes said and Evan pointed out, Nate Ament is not going to be 100% until after the year. So it's how can he manage both the ankle and the knee today and as long as Tennessee continues?
You know, especially, Andrew, with a one-day rest in between. That's why Rick Barnes kept him out as much as he could the other day.
One more free throw for Malik Thomas after the foul on Estrella, and that one is good for Thomas. This time it's Gillespie bringing it up.
And they like to do a lot more damage than Virginia does. Tennessee likes to do damage in the paint.
Estrella with nice touch.
And DeRitter banged him pretty good on that one and pushed him way out. That was a heck of a shot.
Hall looking for help, locates Grunlow, who gets it back out to DeRitter. A three.
He shoots it at 35%. They don't score in the paint. They basically have 5 guys out on the perimeter. One of the things, though, is Grunlow has a bad thumb and has had trouble shooting the ball from 3 recently.
Akpara turnaround, no good, and the rebound collected by Hall. Akpara's first miss of the tournament. He was 5 for 5 in the opening round win, but the Cavaliers give it right back. Gillespie attacking, and it's rejected by Sam Lewis.
You see Gillespie taking this up, but they do a very good job. Hall over there did a great job of walling up so as not to foul, as you can see right there, and then Lewis comes and gets it.
Virginia leads the country in blocks per game. There it is, 6.4 on the season.
Yeah, they had the second best shot block. Oh, that's fell asleep on the out of bounds.
And 4 quick points for J.P. Estrella. 4-point Tennessee advantage. And Gillespie takes it away, but ripped right back by Onienso. Jakari White is checked in for Virginia. He was the MVP on Friday with a season-high 26 points. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Lewis puts up a 3. And there is Boswell for the rebound. Amen up ahead with Lewis back. Amen all the way, missed it.
And this pace is pretty quick considering neither one of these teams plays very fast.
Here's White attacking, and he lays it in, picking up where he left off on Friday.
Unbelievable the way he played yesterday. 26 points. He was 6 of 8 from the 3-point line.
Gillespie yet to score for Tennessee, had 29 against Miami. Nearly a turnover. Gillespie, high arcing shot, and he's on the board. Lewis running to the basket, comes up short. Amen the rebound.
Amen did a great job of fighting over that screen.
5 minutes into the first half, a corner 3 is not there for Boswell.
Little surprised at Tennessee pushing it up this much so far.
Estrella commits the foul on the floor, and that takes us to our first timeout. An up and down start, Tennessee and Virginia for a spot in the Sweet 16 against Iowa State. This is from the American Treasure Tour in Oaks, Pennsylvania, about 30 minutes from us here. Well, how about Tennessee? 5 field goals, 5 assists early on.
Yeah, that's no surprise, really. They're number 4 in the SEC in assists. They average over 17 a game, so they do a great job passing the ball. You're going to see that great move by Estrella. They slip on the out-of-bounds play there. So right now, passing the ball very well to start this game.
But before that timeout, it was J.P. Estrella who picked up his second foul. So he comes out of the game just over 5 minutes in, and Jalen Carey takes his spot on the floor. Amari Evans is also checked in for Rick Barnes.
Well, between Jalen Carey and Amari Evans, not Amari Evans, they have a pretty good guy off the bench there in Carey.
This is White missing his first 3-point attempt, and the rebound to Boswell.
And Rick Barnes, normally not a guy who will play somebody with 2 fouls in the first half, but there's a lot of time left.
Onienso with his first block of the night. He had 9 in the ACC championship game, and the 3 is good by Hall.
And they got out after that block shot. Hall, 32% from 3. Was probably one of their worst perimeter shooters, makes it there.
Virginia had been 1 of 5 from deep until that triple. Gillespie trying to slice through the lane, but Onienso's right there. Gillespie trying to go over him, and he does.
I mean, he shot that so high, and they love to use that high pick and roll. Gillespie really crafty with that one.
White, another three, and this one is good.
I mean, this guy was on complete fire on Friday, and now he starts off like that now.
His 6 threes Friday tied a UVA NCAA tournament record. Boswell attacking through the lane, looking for Carey down low, trying to muscle his way. Good defense, and Carey misses. Carey did not score on Friday in the win over Miami.
Onyenso really bothered him there.
Devin Tillis from the outside. Offensive rebound, Hall, and a foul is called. You can watch every men's game live on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Download now to stay up to date on all the action.
I mean, that play there did not make Rick Barnes happy. You know, letting Hall, the point guard, come in and get an offensive rebound. Everybody's got to put a body on somebody, again, on this team, because Virginia, almost as good a rebounding team as Tennessee.
Well, we told you right off the top, rebounding the key stat today, and early on, 10-5 in favor of Virginia.
Look how Tennessee is inside the three-point line. They don't want to give up drives into the lane.
White, another three! He can't miss this week.
And let me tell you something, Amari Evans was up on him there.
26 on Friday, already 8 tonight.
And let's face it, Tennessee, the way they defended the three-point line against Miami was pretty impressive. So far, not doing so good.
Evans connects. Amari Evans, the freshman from Pittsburgh.
He played very well on Friday also.
He had 6 points and 5 rebounds in that game. Virginia started one of 6 from deep. Since then, they're 3 of their last 4. Thomas trying to get to the 10. Good defense there by Ethan Berg. Shot clock at 5. Thomas from the outside. Another 3. Virginia's 4th of the first half. 5th now for the Cavaliers. With 11:40 to go in the first.
You know, now they're doing well with dribble penetration, Virginia. Getting into the gaps, forcing help, and then they're kicking it, and they're knocking them out right now.
Carey in the lane, draws the foul. It'll be 2 shots for Jalen Carey when we come back, but after a slow start from the outside, Virginia is heating up. 5 threes in the first half. A moment ago, Evan Washburn with Ryan Odom.
Coach, what's led to this success from 3 to start this game?
Yeah, I think we're getting the guys free a little bit with some screening actions. You know, Jakari's a tough guard. You know, if he has a little bit of room off the catch, he lets it fly. You're at his mercy. I like the offensive rebounding, though, right now. I think our guys are doing a decent job on the defensive glass. They're getting it a little bit too tight for us, and we're fouling around the rim, so we got to tighten that up.
Ryan, thanks.
Thanks.
Well, let's take a look here at one of these threes they got. You're going to see Hall give a little shot fake and get in here. The help's going to come from Berg, which is now going to leave Malik Thomas alone out there on the left wing. Here comes a shot fake. He tries to help. 2 open, knocks it out.
Virginia has hit 4 threes in the last 3.5 minutes since Estrella went to the bench with the 2 fouls, and the man who replaced him, Jalen Carey, misses the first free throw.
Well, one thing that we saw the other day, Estrella and Opara were great at defending the three-point line against Miami on Friday. Jalen Carey not as good to get out there and defend those three-point shots.
And not a good free throw shooter, 48%. He comes up empty at the line.
And now Gillespie's on DeRitter, but they switch back.
Thomas attacking with the left hand. No, and Amen takes it off the glass. Gillespie flies up ahead in transition. DeRitter is out on Gillespie.
And Gillespie knows it, but good job by DeRitter staying with it.
Carey inside, muscles his way for 2.
On the 15th best shot blocker in the country, Grunlow, he took it right at him.
3rd straight year, Jalen Carey has been in the NCAA tournament with his 3rd different school. James Madison, Vanderbilt, and now Tennessee. Here's Thomas eyeing the shot clock. He sees it's at 3. Over to Chance Mallory, who fires up a 3. And the rebound is secured by Amari Evans.
Tennessee forces people deep into the shot clock as much as anybody in the country.
Evans leaves it for Carey off glass. Great feed from the freshman Evans.
You got to get back and be ready on defense. Tennessee, Lou didn't get set there defensively.
Oh, Ament sends it down to Pat's cheesesteaks. Firing that one away.
And you know, they never got themselves together on transition defense, but that's what happens when you got a really good player back there. He saves the day for the Volunteers.
First block of the night for Tennessee, but a highlight reel block for Nate Ament, who many have going in the first round of the NBA draft.
Top 10 of the first round.
Averaging 17 points per game, the most by a Tennessee freshman since Allen Houston. And Ament commits the foul. How about this, courtesy of the voice of the Volunteers, Mike Keith. Tennessee is the first team since the tournament expanded to 64 to play 2 30-win teams in the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. Miami on Friday and now Virginia today.
That is an unbelievable stat.
DeRitter and a foul. This one goes on to Wayne Brown.
DeRitter, one of the most fouled guys in the ACC. He's taking 168 free throws coming into this game. You can see why. Very aggressive taking that there and gets fouled by Brown.
That'll send Tess DeRitter to the free throw line. He said after the win against Wright State on Friday that he doesn't have anything like this in Europe. He's from Belgium. He said he played with some Americans the last few years, heard about March Madness, but now that he's experienced, he said, we have nothing like this in Europe. His eyes are wide open, but he's not getting it done at the line. 0 for 2 there as we check in with Evan.
Well, to help with that acclimation process, guys, Ryan Odom showing the guys one shining moment, not once, but twice. Early in the week, it was the 2019 version of the Cavaliers winning the national championship. Then on Thursday here in Philly, it was their own team-tailored version with the indelible track behind them. Guys loved it.
How could you not love it? Love that Odom going to one shining moment for a little extra motivation for his Cavaliers. And DeRitter said, I didn't know about this one shining moment. What is this thing all about? Now he knows.
He knows now.
They're hearing the song. Shot clock at 3. Gillespie's going to have to put it up quickly. And he comes up short, goes out of bounds. And it is Tennessee basketball. It was right in front of the Virginia bench. That was just the second offensive rebound for Tennessee, as you see it again.
That's a good call.
Nine minutes to go in the first half. Gillespie leaves it for Okpara, and he's rejected. Onienso with his second block.
And Okpara is a guy who usually finishes those around the basket.
Amen. Not even close on that 3. Mallory lost it going to the ground, out of bounds. It's Tennessee basketball.
Yeah, Chance Mallory's a good player. He had a rough day on Friday.
You can watch whip-around coverage of all men's games with Fast Break presented by the Home Depot in the March Madness Live app. Early on, 3 Virginia turnovers. Tennessee has yet to cough it up. And a foul was called at the end of that play on Mallory, the freshman. That's his first.
Oh, this is what you don't want to do. Let Gillespie get behind you.
Evans knew it right away.
Well, give Dallin Hall, give him a lot of credit there, the way he closed out to force Evans to travel with the ball.
And so much for no Tennessee turnovers. That's their first.
You did it again.
Well, I put that one on a tee for you. Speaking of which, did you put anything on a tee this morning since we had late games tonight?
No, I did
you didn't
not.
play golf?
No.
No, hey, it's not a ridiculous question.
I was working.
8.5 to go in the first.
Another kick.
Tillis dribbles in the paint, now sends it back out to White.
You better get all over this guy.
Lewis, a step back three. Spins out, and the rebound to Okpara.
You know, Tennessee's one of the best in the country at forcing you into guarded three-point shots. That was a guarded three.
Gillespie for three. Book it.
You can't go under anything with him, especially the way he's playing. You got to go over the top, make him give it up.
7 points for Gillespie. White inside, Okpara is right there. White goes by Okpara, but misses the reverse lay-in, kicked around and scooped up by Gillespie. And now Gillespie thought about a deep three, will set it up. Boswell's left open. And he hits his second triple.
That's what dribble penetration can do for you. And Gillespie's so dangerous. He had 9 assists on Friday. He's able to draw the defense. Boswell's ready to shoot it and knocks down his second three.
A 10-0 run for the Volunteers.
They're making it very hard for Virginia in the half court right now. And part of the problem is Virginia doesn't really have a guy who can score in a low post. Let's see if they can do that on this possession.
In the window for a media timeout. Maybe that's why Ryan Odom is holding off on trying to stop this run. Hall puts it off glass, too strong. The tip by Lewis, not there. And it is grabbed by Ament. Brown inside, lobs it for Okpara. And it's now 14-4, Tennessee in the paint, and Ryan Odom cannot wait any longer. He calls a timeout with 6:32 to go. 12 straight points for the Volunteers. They got it going in Philly. We are back with a look at our tournament summary, and I think at the bottom, that was the game of the weekend so far, with Nebraska just holding off Vanderbilt. Great game, and Nebraska onto the Sweet 16. All right, Lap, what is Tennessee doing so well right now?
Well, they got a smallest team in the game. You got Sam Lewis on carry, so Onyenso thinks like, I got to give him some help. He's too big and too strong. He comes over a little too soon, and he throws a dime. One of the 10 assists that Tennessee has on 12 baskets.
Virginia is scoreless in the last 5.5 minutes, and they're 0 for 7 during this stretch.
Let's face it, Tennessee, since Rick Barnes has been there, has been one of the best defensive teams. And that time they get to the basket, as I say, they're one of the best defensive teams in the country.
It was Mallory, the freshman, who has had a very impressive start to his collegiate career, a native of Charlottesville, Virginia, where Virginia is located.
Tennessee's strength defensively is keeping their heels on the three-point line and not allowing dribble penetration. And then they recover to three-point shooters because they're not giving that penetration up.
Ament jumper short, and the rebound is scooped up by Mallory, who's fouled by Ament. And that'll take us to a timeout.
Well, right now, Tennessee's defense starting to get a little separation, up 6 on the Cavaliers.
Back in Philadelphia, a look at our game summary, and Tennessee with 10 assists on 12 made field goals. And a moment ago, Evan caught up with Rick Barnes.
Rick, what have been the coaching points defensively to try and slow down UVA?
Well, they're a really good offensive team, really well coached, great scheme, great spacing. We've got to do a better job of guarding the ball. That'll keep us out of rotation. Early we were jumpy coming out, pulling shot fakes, and just a step behind a little bit, but they're good. I mean, we're not going to shut them out, but we got to do we got to do a better job rebounding the basketball, but they're a good team. We got our hands full.
Coach, appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah, those 5 threes that Virginia got relatively early were all on rotations. Guys getting in the lane, guys getting into gaps, giving a little too much help. So guarding the ball, and that's what Tennessee does to you. They're going to do it for 40 minutes, and if you can do it offensively against them for 30, you'll have a chance, but that's very hard to do.
You saw Amen on the bench. Before that timeout, he picked up his 2nd foul.
And not a good one, Andrew. Definitely a freshman foul.
You talk about the Tennessee defense. Virginia in this game is 3 for 9 inside the arc.
They're one of the best in the country at not allowing paint points. They only give up 26 points a game in the paint, top 30. They don't let you score in the paint because it's hard to beat them off the dribble. And Virginia doesn't have a real post-up guy to throw it to on the block.
Shot clock's at 5. This is Thomas, a 3.
And Rick Barnes will take that because that 3 did not come off a driving kick. That was a one-on-one play, made a tough shot. That's fine.
7 different Volunteers have scored so far. Gillespie to Akpara. That's what he does. Second slam for Akpara. DeRitter at 5 early. He's been quiet since. Trying to work on Akpara here. DeRitter in the lane, draws the double, and a wild shot not there. So DeRitter has cooled off after that hot start. Gillespie sees an opening. Now over to Evans. Not there. And DeRitter the rebound. Keeping a close eye on the rebounds right now. Virginia +2 on the glass. Thomas lost it, and Thomas was out of bounds, and now he's down in some pain.
That lob to Akpara was a set play. Watch the back screen by Evans. Stop right there. Back screen. Evans does a good job of getting into Onyensu's back. Get it right up to Akpara. Really good play there by Rick Barnes.
And Malik Thomas is going to go out. He was grabbing his left hand when he went down. Evan is right there. We'll get you an update as soon as we have one. Approaching 4 minutes to go in the first half. The winner will see Iowa State in the Sweet 16 in Chicago on Friday. Here's another 3, and it's Boswell. His last 3 games, he was 1 of 9 from deep. That was his 3rd 3 of the half. Grunlow tied up down low, blocked. Akpara was there, and Akpara grabs it.
They're tough defensively inside. The help came over on that one. I mean, Tennessee only makes 6.5 threes a game. They use the 3 one of the least in the country.
Shot clock down to 5. Gillespie has to go to work. High arcing shot, not there. And Mallory the rebound. Mallory's got great speed, spinning inside. Nowhere to go, he sends it out. White thought about a 3.
Akpara did a great job the other day against Miami of Ohio defending perimeter guys from the 3-point line.
White now gets up 3. And it's Virginia with an offensive rebound. It's Hall again, but he misses in tight, and Gillespie takes it off the glass. He wants to run. Evans trying to get ahead of the pack. Evans leaves it out to Boswell, another 3. And White is fouled by Amari Evans. That's the 7th team foul on the Volunteers. It'll be a 1-and-1 for Virginia when we come back. The lead is 8 for Tennessee here in Philadelphia.
We got good love, we got a short time to give it away.
Okay, Jamie, and if the Johnnies win, they'll play Duke on Friday in Washington, D.C. Meanwhile, coming up, AT&T at the half. Get all the scores and highlights and the latest tournament news. It's all coming up on AT&T at the half. Virginia started 7 of 14 from the floor. Since then, they've gone 2 for 14.
How about their 4 for 13 from 2? They have 4 two-point field goals. Tough to get in that lane.
Only 3 shots they've made in the paint. You can get complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament on NCAA.com. Let's check in with Evan.
Well, guys, just wanted to follow on Malik Thomas. He went to the bench. The athletic training staff checked in on him. He appeared to say he was good to go. Still on the bench as it stands right now, but doesn't appear to be an issue with that left wrist.
Okay, Evan, thank you. Thomas has 7 points here in the first half.
DeRitter on Gillespie.
Akpara getting his jersey held inside, and it doesn't matter as Carey rattles it in.
Well, I mean, they backed off him so far. They dared him. Grunlow dared him to shoot it. He did.
DeRitter attacking. Akpara got him from behind. That is the 4th block of the half for Tennessee. 2nd for Akpara.
Yeah, and it's Virginia that's the #1 shot blocking team in the country. But they've been defending that paint. That's where Virginia's really getting it. 18-6, Tennessee over Virginia in the paint points.
And Virginia just 2 for 10 on layups. Shot clock winding down here. White. And it's tipped out. Lewis had it, lost it, taken away by Evans, who's been very active here in the first half. Boswell nearly lost it, gets it back. And now looking for help from Gillespie. Final 90 seconds of the first half. Gillespie takes a bump, misses, trying to follow his shot, and DeRitter gets it out on the perimeter. Grunlow's fighting through that right wrist, had a tough time catching that pass.
Good defense by Tennessee in transition there.
Lewis rattles it in.
Tennessee has their use it or lose it timeout.
Rick Barnes coaching in his 30th NCAA tournament. Carey trying to go right at Grunlow, and a foul is called.
Yeah, Ryan Odom didn't like that one. Carey going at Grunlow there. That's a foul. He's on his arm. That's a foul.
We've been talking about it this week. Grunlow with the right wrist. It was taped during the ACC tournament as well. Ryan Odom told us it's getting better. He's getting more strength in his fingers, but he told us he can't really shoot from the outside, and he's only taken 1 shot so far today. He appears to be more limited than you would have imagined.
Yeah, Andrew, he's a 35% three-point shooter for the season, and he's not even looking when he's out on the perimeter. And that hurts them a little bit because that's how they spread out the floor.
And that was his 2nd foul as Jalen Carey knocks it in. There's a good look at the right wrist of Grunlow, and he'll now come out with the 2 fouls and 47 seconds to go.
And Rick Barnes, true to form, not playing guys with 2 fouls in the first half.
JP Estrella has sat since picking up that 2nd foul.
Yeah, he sat like 13 minutes. But Jalen Carey's done a pretty good job.
Carey back at the line, looking for his 8th point. Estrella has sat for 36 minutes of real time. And a 16-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock.
Akpara, look at he made White go out to half court with that hedge.
Tough pass to Ritter, able to recover. Looking down low on Nienso, puts it in. See if Rick Barnes wants to call that timeout here. I think he's trying to.
He was.
He is, yeah. It is loud in here. Rick Barnes needed a couple of yells at the official to get that timeout. Well, there's an interesting connection between Rick Barnes and Ryan Odom. Barnes, Lenore Ryan, class of 1977, and that's where Ryan Odom was a head coach for 1 year during the 2015-2016 season. Odom saying that Barnes was very helpful as a young head coach. He would reach out, always willing to chat. And of course, Rick Barnes had many battles against Ryan's father, Dave Odom, who was here, longtime coach at Virginia. Barnes was at Clemson for all those years, and they go way, way back. And I love what Rick Barnes told us. He would say that both Rick and Dave Odom would fight for recruits, and then at the last minute, Dean Smith would come take them away.
He did it to me a couple of times, too. But you know what? You got to think that Virginia, they have to feel fortunate to be in this game. They're shooting 34% from the field. The rebounding has kept them within reach, down 5. If they get a stop here.
5 seconds to go, Gillespie, and a foul is called. Now, Virginia, that's just their 5th foul.
And the signal was invading his cylinder. Now let's see what Hall does there. Yeah, he does. That's a good call. He invades his cylinder, doesn't give him his space there. That's a good call.
They still have another foul to give if they want. Amen. No, it's Boswell. Boswell for 3 at the horn, short, and that is how the first half comes to a close. Rebounds in the first half, Virginia by 4, but on the scoreboard, Tennessee up 5, and a lot of that is because they only turned the ball over once the entire first half. Evan is with Bishop Boswell.
Bishop, you didn't get that 3, but you had 3 in the first half. What's working for you?
It's just a good job on my teammates penetrating, attacking gaps, and then they're getting me overlooked.
With the score as it is right now, what's required to close out this game in advance?
Yeah, we have a lot of work to be done. I don't think we closed the half as good as we should have. We just got to come up with those rebounds, those loose balls, and just convert.
Bishop, thanks.
Thank you.
First time in his career, he has hit at least 3 threes in a game. Bishop Boswell helping Tennessee out to the halftime lead. So much great history here in the city of Philadelphia as we welcome you back and we take a look at the Invesco QQQ first half stats. We've been talking about the rebounds, +5 in favor of Virginia, but points in the paint, Tennessee up 10. And we're courtside with Steve Lapis. I'm Andrew Catalan. We'll hear from Evan Washburn in a moment. This could be a lot worse for Virginia right now.
Well, think about this. Tennessee held them to 34% shooting. Tennessee only had 1 turnover. Tennessee made almost as many threes as they averaged for a game, 6. And they're sitting here only up 5. So give Virginia credit for hanging in there.
Evan with Dallin Hall.
Dallin, what were the priorities from the staff in there about how to grab control of the second half?
Yeah, I think just a little more discipline on the defensive end. We did a couple of things that were uncharacteristic of us. Credit to them. They had some great sets. So we just want to make sure we stick to our principles.
Look, they're big, but how do you try and limit their paint touches and their dominance inside?
Yeah, part of it is that discipline, our communication, executing on switching principles, and just on those sets. So we feel like we can clean those up. We've done a good job on the glass. Got to stay good there.
I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you.
And Steve, if Virginia's going to come back, they need some other players to step up. So far this week, Jakari White is shooting 68% from the floor. The rest of the Cavaliers combined are at 39%.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy that's bailed them out all weekend. He's a big reason why they're only down 5 now.
White had 10 in the first half. Here is Hall, who just spoke with Evan. Hands it off inside for Grunlow, off the front of the rim, gets his own miss, and Akpara takes it away. And again, Grunlow not being very physical, protecting that right wrist.
No, you saw the way he put that up. You know the kid's got to be hurting a little bit the way he went up, but he's a good player. And right here he gets it, and it just had no strength to get that back up.
Dallin Hall is called for the foul. He was hoping for a tie-up. Instead, he commits his second.
Wow, I thought that was going to be a jump ball.
Virginia with the pressure. J.P. Estrella is back on the floor. He ended up sitting for 60 minutes of real time with the 2 fouls.
But think about that pressure.
Parra couldn't throw this one down, and it's saved by Grunlow. He threw it right to Ament. Boswell, jumper. Comes up short. Parra able to grab it.
They got plenty of time, still 21 seconds. Did they reset that?
They did.
Did it hit the rim? No, I think that's what. I don't think it. I think that's what Ryan Odom is complaining about.
Ament from the corner. 3 not there. Estrella is fouled going for the rebound. Ryan Odom is still complaining that it didn't hit the rim. I saw both officials circle to reset the clock.
No. Well, that one certainly didn't, and neither did that one. I don't think. If they score here, he's not going to be happy.
Ament scores, and Odom is not happy. Evan?
Well, he wasn't that upset when I spoke with him, but he did want his group to tighten things up. And offensively, wants them getting into their offense much quicker. He says if we walk the ball up the floor, it allows Tennessee to settle in defensively. Really hard to score. And guys, one other point, that 3 that Rick Barnes brought up that I thought was interesting, the momentum. Let's watch it right now because we spoke to him yesterday. The extended halftime, about 5 minutes longer in the NCAA tournament, he feels like it can really kill momentum going into the half as they obviously were leading.
All right, Evan, thank you. That was the 7th 3 of the night for Virginia, and we're going the other way. An offensive foul, and Rick Barnes not happy with that. And the foul is on Estrella. That's his 3rd. So J.P. Estrella right back to the bench.
Yeah, they're gonna need a good game out of Jalen Carey because you got to figure Estrella's out for at least the next 3 or 4 minutes.
3 fouls in 7 minutes of game time for J.P. Estrella. Grunlow looking for help. It's Thomas who comes to bail him out. Thomas, a deep 3. And that is an air ball for Malik Thomas.
Boswell did a very good job defensively there.
Bleacher Report is your one-stop destination for March Madness. Get every moment all tournament long with personalized updates and highlights from your favorite teams. Download the BR app now. And that one goes out of bounds. And the officials are talking, Michael Reed and Don Daly, and they're going to say it's going to stay with Tennessee.
Boy, Jalen Carey did not look comfortable taking that ball out of bounds, I can tell you that. But the Tennessee kids didn't work real hard to get open there.
Well, 5-hole action right there. Did not touch Gillespie.
They're not, I mean, they're walking around. You got to get open.
Gillespie right by the defense. Grunlow recovers. A big block for the big man from Virginia. And then away from the ball, a foul is called.
What a great block this is by the 15th leading shot blocker in the country. That's close. Nope, he got it.
Ralph Sampson can appreciate that. The all-time shot block leader in Virginia history is in the building.
Well, you could see Virginia's making a conscious effort to get the ball up quicker because there's no doubt you can't set up against this defense the whole game.
To Ritter. That 3 won't go down, and Ament is there for the rebound.
That was some serious boxing out by Tennessee on that possession.
Boswell from the corner. A fight for it. Tennessee has it. Ament puts it up. He can't get it to go. Carey offensive rebound. Lost it. It'll stay with the Volunteers.
Andrew, Tennessee rebounds 45% of their misses. 45%. That is the 3rd highest total since 2000. Michigan and Georgetown were the only 2 teams in the last 26 years to have a better offensive rebound percentage. Their problem? They're like 280 in finishing those offensive rebounds. They don't finish them well.
Did not finish that one, but it's still Tennessee basketball. Rebounds so far in the second half, 7-3 in favor of the Volunteers. Oh, Parra was calling for a lob. They couldn't get it to him. Now Ament will take a jumper, and he knocks it in.
And that's kind of what Nate Ament has done all year. He's a very good ball handler. He's able to get himself to 10 feet. He's been to the foul line 232 times this year because he can put it off the dribble.
Lewis, a step back triple. It's there for Sam Lewis. And a 3-point Tennessee advantage.
Not getting open in this pressure.
Virginia wanted a 5-second call. They don't get it. Amen brings it across.
Oh, this kid can handle. 6'10".
Matched up with Lewis. Amen trying to use his size, puts it up, and he's going to go to the free throw line like you just talked about, Lap.
Yeah, he's able to do that because of his great ball handling ability and obviously being 6'10". So he's going to back Lewis down here, and Lewis really has no choice. Amen was using that left arm a little bit too.
A McDonald's All-American, and in his final recruiting pitch from Rick Barnes, Barnes and the Tennessee staff showed Nate a video of his favorite player, Kevin Durant, who, oh, by the way, Rick Barnes coached at Texas. And Barnes told him, if you don't want this role on our team, don't come. Here he is, trying to follow in the footsteps of Kevin Durant.
I mean, now Kevin Durant is an all-time great, but I see the comparisons. You know, 6'10", handle, shoot the ball.
Evan Washburn has more.
And part of that comparison, guys, too, is strength and weight. For Nate Ament, he came in to Knoxville at 187 pounds. He's put on 20 pounds in a few months to be 207. How's he do it? 5,000 calories a day. Spoke to him about it yesterday. It's tough. At times he said he feels like he needs to throw up, but he's eating right before bed. Lap, I think you might need to give him your diet. See if that can help him get the numbers up even more.
I'd like to be able to eat 5,000 calories a day.
I've never seen you not order dessert. So.
All right, take it easy.
Amen. Brings the ball up the floor. You can see his potential. No one's saying he's Kevin Durant, but he's got a lot of skill sets that'll be valuable at the next level.
He's comfortable now. You can see it.
Amen.
Another foul.
Going right back to the free throw line when we come back.
When you see a freshman shoot 232 free throws, you know he's a guy who's really hard to guard. Tennessee up 5. The winner going to the Sweet 16.
All right, Jamie, thank you very much. And the winner will see Duke in the Sweet 16 on Friday in Washington, D.C. Good one here in Philadelphia. Early second half, Tennessee is ahead by 5 on Virginia. Officials were at the monitor during that timeout. I believe they were checking on a foul. Steve is communicating right now with Don Daly. There he is. And he will deliver the news.
The foul in 1942 was misreported as 30.
What do you got there, Lad?
It has now been changed to 17 white.
They changed the foul at the 1930 mark, and they had it on 55. Who was 55 here? And it's now on 17.
They changed it from Hall, number 30, I don't know why I said 55, to Grunlow.
Yes.
So Hall only has 2 fouls. Grunlow has 3.
Yeah.
And Amen is at the line.
Referees don't worry about numbers.
Amen gets the first free throw to go. As you see, his mom is in the stands. His father, Albert, was a good basketball player at Wayne State, in the Hall of Fame for basketball at Wayne State. And Amen makes a pair.
He's making his presence felt today a lot more than yesterday.
Did not score on Friday in the first round. Now has 9 points here tonight.
How about Virginia's 3 for 12 on layups?
9 missed layups. Amazing.
Boswell got to White really quick there on that closeout. And there's the switch of Para. He can stay on the guard.
Shot clock winding down. Nice
good
pass from Tillis to Onienso. Boswell looking for Gillespie. He's got 7 points so far tonight after 29 in the opening round. Gillespie trying to work on Tillis, gets by him, and his little runner is good. Tough shot for Jacoby Gillespie.
Yeah, but Tillis got to give him a little bit of space there. Can't really get up on him. I think he's going to keep him in front.
Mallory trying to get to the basket and the foul. The freshman delivers.
One of those rare baskets you get, taking it to the basket. Okpara that time couldn't stay in front of Chance Mallory, who's under 6 feet tall. Does a good job to finish that one. But I will say this, Okpara's done a very good job on Friday and today being able to stay in front of guards. That time he couldn't do it.
Second foul on Okpara, and the freshman Mallory cannot complete the three-point play. The lead has been between 3 and 7 this entire second half. Rick Barnes was looking for a foul call, so were all of the Tennessee fans here in Philadelphia. Amen, baseline, Amen is going to it. Yes! 13 points for the freshman.
This guy is going to work now. You can see it in his face.
And Estrella's at the scorer's table with 3 fouls, set to check in.
He sat his 3 minutes.
Mallory from the corner for 3. Five straight points for Chance Mallory. And Virginia with 21 points off the bench. Carey, left hand, and the foul.
I mean, he's doing that to the second best shot blocker in the country. Onyenso averages almost 3 blocks a game, but Carey just dips his shoulder and gets that space that he needs and has a nice finish with the left hand.
Jalen Carey, all smiles as he has a chance to get to 10 points on the day. Foul was on Onyenso, his first. Carey averages 7 points per game and did not score against Miami on Friday.
I mean, he's 4 for 5 from the field, only 1 for 4 from the free throw line, but he's definitely helped with Estrella being in foul trouble.
And he makes the free throw. He's into double figures. What a job Jalen Carey has done in his first year with the Volunteers. Tennessee is 5 for 5 from the line here in the second half. First half, they were 1 for 4. To Ritter for 3. Carey had it, lost it, right to Mallory, who has been everywhere here in the second half for the Cavaliers. Hall sends it back out. Here's Mallory. Hall with the offensive rebound to Ritter. And a great play by Dallin Hall.
Really good pass, finding his man under the basket.
10 offensive rebounds for the Cavaliers. Boswell spinning, sends it out. Gillespie for a triple. You bet.
What a great pass from Boswell. He gets in the middle of the lane. He finds the man, Gillespie, gets it right to him.
Action picking up here, end to end for a spot in the Sweet 16. Thomas, tough 2.
Tough switch for Jalen Carey. You know, he's not as good as Estrella and Okpara at being able to switch to those guys.
Malik Thomas has a dozen. Whoa, oh, Mallory up high in the face of Gillespie. It's time to start your engines because TNT Sports is back as your home for NASCAR this summer. Tune in beginning June 28th on TNT and stream on HBO Max. And St. John's just won at the buzzer over Kansas. So St. John's and Duke meet in the Sweet 16 on Friday in D.C.
First Sweet 16 for St. John's since 1999.
How about that? One of these two teams will be in the Sweet 16 in Chicago. Iowa State, after their impressive win over Kentucky today, awaits the winner of this one.
Without their best player, Joshua Jefferson.
These two teams have combined 11 of their last 14. Evans misses there, right back to him. Trying to go up with it, a fight, and it's ripped away by Lewis. And a foul is called on Dwayne Brown.
Yeah, Evans has to kick that out right away instead of trying to go up against the #1 shot blocking team in the country in there.
Back and forth we go, 54-48 in favor of the Vols. And we have a combined 10 block shots in this game.
No real surprise, with Virginia's #1 in the country. Tennessee not great, but they get their share.
Speaking of great, there is Ralph Sampson. And that's where he ranks all time in career block shots. He was 2-0 against Tennessee in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, Tennessee with the pressure, I think caught him off guard there.
Out of bounds. And it's Virginia basketball.
Yeah, Tennessee picking up full. They don't do that all that often.
So Steve, Jakari White has only played 3 minutes here in the second half. What do you make of that for Ryan Odom?
I think he likes what he sees out there from Lewis and Thomas. Hall's their point guard, so they don't want to take him out, and that's probably what he's seeing.
White with 10 points tonight, including a couple of threes.
I mean, those guys have 22 between them. They're playing pretty good right now.
Here's Hall. He'll take a deep three. DeRitter had it, lost it, out of bounds. It'll stay with the Cavaliers.
Good job there by Gillespie getting that out of DeRitter's hands.
Virginia has 11 offensive rebounds, but only 7 second chance points, and they do not get the offensive rebound there. It'll be Tennessee basketball. Here's a look at the offensive rebounds, 11-8 in favor of Virginia, and overall each team with 29 rebounds. Gillespie and Boswell have done a great job tonight. A combined 11 assists with no turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what they've done.
Akpara's fouled, going up to get it.
When you look at Tennessee, they have 16 assists on their 21 baskets.
Foul is on DeRitter. That's his second. It sends Akpara to the free throw line. Now in his second year with the Volunteers after beginning his career at Ohio State. The work never stops in the pit. Catch up on the Emmy Award-winning series that critics are calling the absolute best show on TV. New episodes streaming Thursdays at 9 p.m. on HBO Max. And Jakari White is back on the floor for Virginia. Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Guys, as you know, Rick Barnes puts a lot on his point guard. Think about having Zakai Ziegler in the program for so many years. But Jacoby Gillespie has really come to understand what he needs to do in that position. And Rick Barnes put it perfectly yesterday. He drives the car for us, and right now he understands the difference between the interstate and driving in the city. The pace, the different change that you need to have when you're running the show.
And Evan, I'd say right now it's more along the interstate. The way this game is starting to unfold, up and down we go. Lewis for three. Too strong, and Boswell is there. 7-point Tennessee advantage.
Boswell dancing on the baseline there.
Akpara in no man's land for him, and he's able to get in the lane and score.
Yeah, not a good job by Virginia that time in playing that pick and roll. Too much space for Akpara.
Dribbled right in and scored. And this is the largest lead of the night for Tennessee.
Good help by Berg there.
DeRitter a triple. It's good. A big shot for Virginia. And Ryan Odom will call timeout. That's the 10th three-pointer of the evening for the Cavaliers. They trail by 6 with 10:11 to go in the second half. All right, Jamie, what a finish out there in San Diego. Duke and St. John's all set for Friday in D.C.
That Dylan Darling has had some year for Rick Pitino, transfer from Idaho.
And when we're done with Tennessee and Virginia, another Big East team has a chance to get to the Sweet 16 as UConn will take on UCLA. But first, midway through the second half, the Volunteers have a 6-point lead on Virginia.
And how about Bishop Boswell tying his career high for assists with 8? There's the high-low. Power was open.
Estrella on the floor with 3 fouls. Grunlow continues to sit with 3 for Virginia. Estrella has the size advantage here. Gillespie took his eye off it. Shot clock at 2. Gillespie's going to have to put up a 3. He does. And he hits it.
If there's somebody you want with the ball in his hands at the end of the shot clock, it's that guy. He will get you something.
DeRitter pass, who's on the open 3. Dribbling in on Akpara. DeRitter with the left hand.
That was using your body to a T.
A dozen for DeRitter. Lob. Estrella throws it down. The high-flying Volunteers.
Virginia, normally a pretty good transition defense team. Not that time.
Mallory through the defense, and he puts it in. Was looking for a foul as well. He doesn't get it. End to end we go. Gillespie using the screen.
Good pass.
Boswell, a 3, doesn't go. Tipped up in the air. Estrella grabs it down. But then Lewis knocks it, and it goes out of bounds.
Oh. He pushed him.
And there is some discussion now between Michael Reed and Don Daly.
I wonder if they're going to look at that. Oh, they're going to look. I got to tell you, you watch here what happens. So Estrella kind of boxes him out, which is fine. That was, I mean, could they go dead ball technical foul there? They could, but it wasn't much, but it was something.
Whoa, Ryan Odom is screaming at Michael Reed. Now remember, on Friday, Sam Lewis got called for a technical foul for throwing the ball off of one of the Miami players. One of the Wright State players, and now he's could be getting another technical.
And you know, this is what Gene talked about the other day. No, it wasn't a lot, but that could escalate into something. That is a dead ball technical ball. Let's see, is the ball is not just out of bounds. That's either going to be a flagrant 1 or a dead ball technical, depending on when that ball was actually out of bounds. Right now, yeah, that's a dead ball technical foul, I think.
It's very similar to the same technical foul Sam Lewis was called for on Friday. Doesn't look like much, but Gene Steratore said Friday, hey, you got to nip that in the bud so it doesn't escalate. Could be the same thing, right, Gene?
Yeah, you know, actually, fellas, as I'm watching it, I can't disagree with kind of what you're saying. And really, in Estrella's defense, this ball's not dead yet when he kind of is boxing him out. So you do have a little box out bump there, right, from Estrella. And when he does, Lewis is reacting to that. I think this box out a little by, hey, you don't know to box me out there. So he gives him a subtle shove. But listen, this is where the officials make those decisions, as Coach Lapis was saying.
After review, number 5, White, will be assessed a dead ball contact technical. We will resume play with Tennessee shooting 2 free throws and receiving the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was. It was a dead ball contact technical and not a flagrant 1 because the ball was dead. It was out of bounds. What's the difference? The difference is now anybody can shoot it that Rick Barnes wants to shoot the free throws.
And I think there's probably a lot of people at home who are thinking, oh, come on, why are they calling this? But it's the same thing that Gene just said. You got to get that first one so it doesn't escalate. And I'm sure Virginia fans disagree, but that is the call by the crew of Reed, Daly, and Henderson.
And the big thing is that Estrella would have shot the free throw, and he's not a great free throw shooter. Now they're going to put Nate Eman at the line, who shoots 80% from the free throw line.
So, Gene, you're in agreement, right,
Coach? Yeah, I was going to say, Andrew, now we're back on the rails again. Coach Lapis and I, now we're agreeing, we're moving forward and finishing what's going to be a great ending here.
All right, Gene, thank you very much. So the second technical foul called against Sam Lewis in the NCAA tournament. Ament goes 1 out of 2 at the line at 63-55.
And Ament didn't make them pay like you would have thought for an 80% free throw shooter, but they still have the ball.
8.5 to go. Berg looking at the shot clock. Berg from deep. And the rebound fought for Okpara, offensive board, knocked away to Virginia.
These guys on the glass, it's amazing. I mean, to imagine they rebound 45% of their misses. That is an incredible number, but they park themselves under there. They've got long arms, they're athletic.
And a great play there by Dallin Hall to force the turnover. Each team with only 5 turnovers in this game. Been a very clean game. And right now an 8-point Tennessee lead.
And let's face it, they've been pretty even on the offensive glass. Second chance points are completely even at 7.
DeRitter fakes the 3, steps back and drills it. And he looks over at Ryan Odom and says, let's go. It's a 5-point game.
You know, DeRitter, this is the best game that he's played in quite some time.
Only 5 points in the ACC championship game against Duke. And then 10 on Friday against Wright State. He's got 15 tonight.
And now their defense looks like it's picking up a little bit.
Wild shot there, out of bounds. And it will be Tennessee basketball, and the Virginia players are trying to tell Ryan Odom the challenge. It takes us to a media timeout. Odom has a little bit of time to take a look. No signal yet. Odom is huddled up with his tablet guy, Matt Hart. And we got a good one here in Philadelphia. Welcome back. Here's a look at our game summary, and both teams have heated up over the last few minutes. Great end-to-end action, Lap.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And figure this, Virginia is playing much better. 11 for 21 from the field. This guy, Gillespie, you put it in his hands at the end of the shot clock. They're getting up and down, getting some easy dunks. DeRitter really has picked up his play. But with all that, and Virginia playing pretty well here in the second half, they're still down to 5 points they were down at halftime.
DeRitter has 8 points in the last 2 minutes and 45 seconds. There was no challenge by Ryan Odom. It's Tennessee basketball, and just under 5 seconds remain on the shot clock.
Well, you know whose hands this is going to go to. Well, they're going to try.
White got a hand on it. Ament forces one up, no good, tipped out. Mallory is there.
He had time. He didn't need to throw that up that fast.
Mallory has been a pest for Tennessee today. The freshman is playing some great basketball here in the second round. Hall splits the D and scores. It's a one-possession game.
Yeah, Boswell switched to him. He went right by him.
Hall, the transfer from BYU, made the Sweet 16 last year. And a win here today would put him back in the Sweet 16. Officials telling the Virginia bench to sit down, and all that does is fire up the Virginia crowd right behind that bench. It's a 7-1 run for the Cavaliers.
Imagine you could pick and roll with a 6'10 guy.
Draws the double, gets rid of it to Okpara. Now Gillespie will set up. Gillespie locates Boswell, catch and shoot three. It's good for Boswell. And for Bishop Boswell, that's his 4th three of the night.
You know, it's been a good game by Gillespie, no doubt, but Boswell has really picked it up, where Gillespie didn't play the way he had to play against Miami last Friday.
Boswell has a dozen. His career high is 13, but Hall does it again.
And that's 2 layups in a row. Where is the help?
Inside 6 minutes to play. Boswell over to Ament. Shot clock at 7. Bad pass by Ament and a turnover. Hall wants to run. DeRitter up ahead. Mallory trailing. Grunlow flies in! The Cavs are coming!
And Rick Barnes needs a timeout.
Closest it's been this half. Rick Barnes screaming for a timeout. And finally they hear him. An 11-4 run for Virginia. And we got a good one cooking in Philly. Cavaliers running the break, and they are within 2 against the Volunteers. Coming up next here on TNT, Dan Hurley is in the building. He's got his coffee, he's got his music, he's ready to go as Mick Cronin walks in with his father, Hep. That should be a good one. UCLA and UConn coming up next here in Philadelphia. But still, 5:23 to go here, and the Tennessee lead is down to 2.
A couple of mistakes by Tennessee on offense. Ament, tough pass to throw inside. They get stolen, leads to the dunk. Now all of a sudden, Virginia on a nice run.
Points in the paint. Virginia only had 8 in the first half. They have 16 here in the second half. And this is a minor thing, but this is the second time now that Rick Barnes tried to call a timeout, and the officials couldn't hear him. That was a big part of the Santa Clara, Kentucky finish, and something to keep an eye on here down the stretch.
And Mike Reed was like right in front of him and couldn't hear him.
Out of bounds and a turnover.
You know, this Virginia team defensively now is starting to pick it up, but they were holding people in the season. That was just, you brought too many people into a small area. You try a dribble handoff right by the sideline. That's not a good decision offensively.
Virginia has hit its last 7 shots. They have a chance to tie or take the lead.
They haven't been able to stay in front of them.
Hall trying to work on Estrella. Lewis back on the floor after the technical. Grunlow with 4 to shoot. Out to Hall, fakes the 3, steps back, puts it up. And the rebound to Ritter is fouled.
That was a pretty good defensive possession by Tennessee, but they are playing a team that are no slouches on the offensive glass. They're number 9 in the country, and now they're trying to assert themselves down low.
Foul is on Jalen Curry, and it says sends Tess DeRitter to the free throw line. We told you right off the top that DeRitter could be an X factor in this game. Quiet in the ACC championship game against Duke. Quiet in the opening round win against Wright State. Not quiet tonight. 11 of his 16 have come here in the second half.
Much more assertive, made a couple threes, getting on the glass. Now we got a tie game.
And this Philly crowd is going wild.
And here's the guy here they better guard, Gillespie, because he's capable of taking over a game.
Here he is, Gillespie. Not there. And a foul on DeRitter going for the rebound. And that'll be a 1-and-1 for Tennessee.
I mean, they ran that pin down specifically for Gillespie to get a shot. And yeah, he got pushed in the back.
Third foul on Tess DeRitter. And now a 1-and-1 for J.P. Estrella, who's a 64% free throw shooter.
The next one on Virginia is going to be 2 shots.
Big shot there for Estrella, whose mother, Allie, played basketball at Boston College and was the 1995 Miss Maine basketball. JP grew up in Scarborough, Maine. Foul trouble tonight for the sophomore, but he gets it done at the line, 2 out of 2.
Tennessee's gotten a little lax defensively in keeping, because of these switches, and keeping guys out of the lane. They got to get back to what they did in the first half and the first 10 minutes of the second half in terms of their defense on the ball.
Akpara greets Hall as he tries to drive. Now Jakari White, baseline. White out to Hall, 4-3. Comes up short. White tried to save it, goes out of bounds to Tennessee.
And again, some penetration, that time by Jakari White, and Hall was wide open. Now, he's a 32% three-point shooter, but he was wide open there.
Hall is 1 of 4 from deep tonight, and Mallory is back on the floor. And Sam Lewis will go out.
The thing about Virginia now is they're getting much better shots in the half court.
3 players with 3 fouls apiece.
It can't.
Wayman made a mistake.
Did he travel or did he cross the line?
A freshman mistake by Nate Ament.
Yeah, he can't. He traveled. He's got to stay in one place. It wasn't a made basket. And usually, I don't know if the ref did. He doesn't have to, but usually refs will say, "Stay. You got to stay. Be still." I don't know if anybody said that.
7th turnover of the half by Tennessee. Virginia's only coughed it up twice. DeRitter, he's starting to feel himself a little, and he ties it at 68.
Yeah, I mean, for Boswell to guard DeRitter, they got to think about what they're doing with these switches, because Virginia's really starting to take advantage, either driving it on a big guy or posting up a small guy.
It's Boswell directing traffic and now getting into the hands of Gillespie. He feeds Estrella. It's DeRitter with the defense. Here comes the double. Estrella, tough turnaround.
Wow. That was a big time, under duress, turnaround shot by Estrella.
3.5 to go. Jakari White has not scored here in the second half. DeRitter, left hand, Akpara got a piece of it.
It helped that he was being guarded by a big that time.
That's the 4th block today for Felix Akpara. And now Gillespie will set up the Tennessee offense. Volunteers trying to get to the Sweet 16 for the 4th consecutive year.
Not much going on here.
He sees the shot clock. He lost it. Diving to the ground is Mallory. Over to White. And White is fouled on the floor.
Wow, that was a bad possession. You know, Akpara caught the ball on the top, like he didn't know what to do with it. Nobody was guarding him.
Here we go. Down the stretch we come. 2:39 to go. A 2-point game for a spot in the Sweet 16. 2:39 to go here in Philadelphia. Tennessee up by 2. Take me inside both huddles, Lap.
Well, if you're Ryan Odom, the thing you want to do is create those mismatches by forcing some switches. But if you're Rick Barnes, are you going to continue to switch and risk putting a smaller guy on DeRitter, who now is being very aggressive? That's the chess match that's going on. Is Rick Barnes going to keep switching, and is Ryan Odom going to try and take advantage of it if they still are?
Evan, what did you hear?
Well, I was in that Tennessee huddle, and a lot of it, guys, was just kind of waking his group up. The turnovers, they got to cut that out, reminding guys situation. They've got 2 timeouts. Yes, defense was the priority. They have to get a stop here. How they handle these switches was part of that huddle as well, Lap.
Well, let's see it right now. Akpara stays on DeRitter, which is smart.
Mallory Great, defended by Akpara.
They switch down.
And here's Jakari White, catch and shoot three. Way too strong. Hall is right there, sends it back out. Three on the shot clock. White doesn't know it. White throws up a three, and it's a shot clock violation.
I'll tell you, Hall's gotten a few offensive rebounds in this game.
He does seem to be under the basket a whole lot tonight.
A lot.
Tennessee has led for 31.5 minutes. Virginia has led for just under 3 minutes.
I don't know if he's the right guy to take the ball out of bounds. Amen.
And a timeout is called. 2-point game, Tennessee in front. Now only one timeout left for Tennessee, and that shot clock violation was Virginia's first turnover in 16 minutes. Winner of this one goes to Chicago, and they'll see Iowa State in the Sweet 16 on Friday.
Well, you got to give Virginia credit because Tennessee had 1 turnover at halftime. They now have 9, so they have 8 in the second half, and they only average. They are one of the best in the country at not turning the ball over. And here's that pressure again. And Gillespie taking the ball out of bounds. I think Rick Barnes saw the same thing I saw back there.
Gets it into Avon, he lost it!
They put their best passer to take the ball out of bounds, and they lose it.
10th turnover of the game, and not a great pass there by Gillespie.
It wasn't a great pass, but Amen, as big as he is, needed to like post up White and get him on his back and just stick his arm out.
The 5th Tennessee turnover in their last 7 trips.
Layup coming.
Sends it out. DeRitter for the lead. He's got it! First lead for Virginia since midway through the first half.
What a great pass. I thought he had a layup. Instead, he found DeRitter, who's been hitting him all night.
Amen working on White, trying to attack. Amen off balance, is fouled. Virginia was looking for a travel. Ryan Odom can't believe it.
Well, you take a look here. Hall knows where DeRitter is and throws a rocket right into the numbers so that he can catch it and shoot it. Really good pass by Hall.
Foul is charged on Grunlow here, and that's his 4th. As you take another look, they wanted to travel. So with 1:37 to go, Grunlow is going to stay out there for Virginia. Now some big free throws coming for the McDonald's All-American, Nate Amen. His last 2 games, Amen was 1 of 16 from the floor. He has 15 points tonight and now has a chance to put the Volunteers back in front.
I think if anything else, you got to have somebody else shoot the ball besides Ritter if you're Tennessee. DeRitter.
Amen is going to come out on defense, and Amari Evans is back on the floor. And Rick Barnes has given it to Amen as he goes to the bench. Emotions running high with a trip to the Sweet 16 on the line.
Okpara's got to stay connected to DeRitter. No switch. Good help by Evans there. They switch. Uh-oh.
Akpara on Hall. Hall trying to go by him. Fakes one way. Nowhere to go. Tough shot is not there, and Akpara with the rebound.
Good defensive set there.
Tennessee has out-rebounded Virginia by 4 tonight. And Rick Barnes, with a minute to go, will use his final timeout. Tennessee 72, Virginia 71. We are coming right back. With Steve Lapis, Evan Washburn, our entire crew, I'm Andrew Catalan. 59 seconds to go, and Rick Barnes just used his final timeout lap.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. They're up 1. Now, obviously, Rick Barnes feels like this is the game right here. I didn't think they needed to call timeout there. They had the ball. They had it under control. It was in Jacoby Gillespie's hands. They know what they want to do because they've already played how many games this year to be in this situation. They're probably going to run a high pick and roll or something with Okpara and Gillespie. But now he has no timeout left if there's a challenge or anything.
He does get Amen back on the floor. Remember, he came out defensively. The freshman returns.
Well, that's a great point. That may be why he wanted that timeout. He felt, but again, he feels like the game is right here now.
Ryan Odom still has 2 timeouts remaining.
And here's the high pick and roll. That's what you got to do with this. Oh no, they're getting Amen on the, here comes the double.
Amen in trouble. Boswell is fouled hard. Yeah, and that'll be 2 shots for Tennessee.
You know, as soon as Amen caught it, they came after him with the hard double. And, you know, because he's not strong like he's going to be someday, he didn't throw a good pass there. Very fortunate that didn't get stolen.
So now big free throws coming for Bishop Boswell, sophomore from Charlotte. He scored a total of 7 points last year as a freshman. Tennessee had a loaded backcourt led by Zakai Ziegler, so he had a reserve role. But this year, a starter, and now a big pressure moment at the free throw line.
Well, at the worst, Virginia will be down 3 if he makes both of them, and he didn't.
A 68% free throw shooter. Boswell will have 1 more. There's a look at the foul trouble for both teams. Grunlow, the only player with 4. 1 out of 2 for Boswell, a 2-point game.
Plenty of time here, obviously. Work as long as you have to get a good one. Oh, Grunlow was pretty open for what? Back cut.
White, reverse lay-in, no. The rebound comes out out of bounds, and it's Tennessee basketball.
What a great job. I didn't see who did it, but one of the Tennessee kids just smacked it. He couldn't get it, so he just hit the ball hard, and it ends up going off Virginia.
That was Amen off of Boswell, and then it looks like Hall touched it. That's the call, but Virginia will challenge. Coach's challenge for Ryan Odom.
So we know Amen hits it the first time.
Does it touch Hall on the way out of bounds?
The previous play is being challenged.
Can't see it
by
on
the Virginia head coach.
right there.
Amen hits it. Oh, I don't think it did.
Boswell's head.
I think it did Boswell's head.
But then does Hall touch it there?
Did it really change rotation?
Doesn't look like it.
Didn't look like it. You would think. No, he didn't touch it. That's going in the same place it was going. I think that's a good challenge.
Virginia has had a man running the tablet, Matt Hart, and he does a wonderful job. He won a big appeal on Friday against Wright State. He told Odom to challenge here, and he could be coming up with another big victory on the sideline.
Yeah, I think he missed it.
Evan, what are you seeing over there?
Yeah, and I spoke to Matt early in the week, and this is part of the process, too, acknowledging the value of holding these challenges until late in the game because of the stakes attached to wanting to challenge. Yes, you might be able to get a possession early in the game, but if you were to lose that challenge, you lose the ability to do this. So this is part of Matt's process. The camera angles, guys, 6 here in this venue for everyone to look at. Obviously, the officials looking at it as well, but this is a program that is invested. He's director of analytics, as you saw there, a lot in this process, and we'll see if Matt's up to the task.
But let's face it, there's 27 seconds to go. You're down. Even if you lose this challenge, so what? You might as well give it a go.
Gene Steratore, what do you think here?
I'm with you on the challenge, right? As you said, Coach, but now I'm living in the replay world and the principles of replay. Indisputable evidence. I can't tell you 100% I see it in his hand. Feels like it. Really high potential, but remember, to overturn and replay has to be indisputable, and I can't tell you, even on that great shot, if it touches that fingertip or not. That's me personally speaking.
That's a great point. You know, it isn't that obvious, no, and it's going to be interesting to see what the officials say about this. I don't think he touches it, but like you said, it's close.
Looks like they're ready. And the call will stand for exactly the reason Gene just told us. A 50-50 call, not enough conclusive evidence. It has to be 100% to overturn it.
That's why Gene's Gene. I thought I was like almost as good a ref. You know what I mean? What the heck?
Gene knows that. We all do.
After review, the call on the floor stands.
It's exactly what Gene said. He said 50-50 call.
And it will cost him a timeout.
Stands.
The game clock will be set to
So now
28.2.
obviously Virginia's going to have to foul.
Tennessee ball.
They adjusted the clock to it is 28.2.
Shot clock is turned off. It is Tennessee ball. And a Virginia foul would produce 2 free throw attempts for the Volunteers.
And they're going to have to foul, and they got to get this ball into Jacoby Gillespie's hands. And Virginia's got to do everything they can to not let him get it. Even if they're probably going to put 2 guys on him, which is what it looks like they're doing.
They have the freshman Amen to inbound.
He got it.
Gets it
They
to
got a foul.
Gillespie, and Gillespie is fouled, and he is their top free throw shooter at 80% on the season. So the lost challenge means that Virginia only has 1 timeout remaining. Tennessee trying to get to the Sweet 16 for the 4th consecutive year. Virginia hasn't been since their title run in 2019. $15 points for Gillespie tonight, and this is the first time he's gone to the line.
That's the guy you want to get there. They did everything the whole team knew. We got to get him the ball.
Two out of 2 for Jacoby Gillespie.
2-possession game, 4 points. Doesn't have to be a 3 here, but got to get something good going to the basket.
Mallory trying to get to the basket, spinning, gets his man in the air, missed it. Out of bounds, it'll be Virginia basketball.
Wow, if he makes that, they're down 2 points with 17 seconds to go. Got to make that one.
Ryan Odom not using the timeout. That was the 12th missed layup for the Cavaliers tonight.
And you're telling your guys to go after this offensive rebound like there's no...
White left alone, and he throws up an air ball.
Wow.
Rebound was grabbed by Gillespie, and a foul. Sha'Carri White, who was so good in the first round against Wright State with 26 points, had a wide open look.
I mean, Estrella and Boswell, leave him alone. They were switching that. Man, they're lucky there.
White has not scored this half, and now Gillespie is going right back to the free throw line.
If it goes to 6, they have to shoot a 3. And if you're Tennessee, you're switching everything and you're not helping at all. If they want to take a 2, go ahead. Just don't give them an open 3 and don't foul.
Gillespie clutch again.
Now they got to switch everything, but Virginia's got to take a 3.
Oh, Gillespie committing the foul, and Rick Barnes can't believe it.
That is the one thing you could not, well, it's not the one thing, it's one of the 2 things you couldn't do. You couldn't give up a 3, and you couldn't foul that quickly.
It stops the clock, and it's a 1-and-1 for Chance Mallory, and there's the reaction of Rick Barnes. 71 years old, in his 11th year at Tennessee, and what a job he has done with this program on the verge of going back to the Sweet 16.
They're still going to be up 2 possessions, even if Mallory makes this, but they're going to have to make free throws.
Mallory originally committed to Tony Bennett, and then after Bennett retired, thought about reopening his recruitment, actually flirted with Tennessee a little bit, but decided to stay home in Charlottesville.
Look at Hall. He's on Gillespie from now. He's going to do everything he can to make sure. Oh, he's pulled his shirt.
Out of bounds, and I think that was last touched by Estrella. It was. It's Virginia basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And remember, Rick Barnes using his final timeout. He cannot challenge. He doesn't have a timeout left. And now I think the officials just want to make sure they have the clock correct. 9.6 to go.
Now you're down 5. Would you like to have a 3? Absolutely. But it's not the end of the world if you get a quick 2. It's 2 possessions.
Don Daly at the scorer's table trying to confirm the clock. And you can see him pointing to where a watch would be. And now Rick Barnes is going to say, all right, if we're going to stop, I'll come talk to my team and get a free timeout.
It's pretty good when you don't have any. I'm a big, you know what? I don't like this. I think if you don't have any, I think in this situation, when the referees have to go to the table, one ref should stand with both teams at half court, and the coaches, neither coach can talk to his team unless they want to call timeout. And Rick Barnes obviously can't. This really helps Tennessee.
Tough to see the clock right here. They might be adding a few tenths of a second back. Here it is with the clock, and when the ball is headed out of bounds.
I've been
After
banging
review,
this
we
drum
had
a
a
lot for the
timing
last couple of
mistake.
years.
We will set the clock at 10.2 seconds. Ball out of bounds.
All right, so a little extra time for Virginia. Down by 5.
A 2 or a 3, but it's got to be quick. You're down 5. Whichever way you do it, you need another basket.
It'll be Dallin Hall to inbound for Virginia. Hall threw it right to Estrella. Over to Gillespie, and he's fouled. The guy who Ryan Odom brought in to be what he said the foundation of a new core. The experienced Dallin Hall, 24 years old, and a tough pass at the worst time for Virginia.
They obviously were looking to get the ball into the corner for a 3. Forced it there.
Gillespie gets it done again. Now 5 out of 5 from the line.
Nothing gives you more confidence as a coach than to have a point guard like this. He's a really good player.
And he'll be matched up with Taman Lipsey in the Sweet 16 of Iowa State. How about that?
Hey, those two teams, they may kill each other. Iowa State and Tennessee.
Estrella the rebound, and that will do it. For the 4th straight year, the Volunteers are going back to the Sweet 16. This week, this is the greatest sporting event in our country, and I will never take it for granted. He has them singing high atop Rocky Top as the Vols advance to the Sweet 16. They will play Iowa State in Chicago on Friday night. Evans with Rick Barnes.
Well, Coach, I think your face says it all. Down the stretch there, I'm sure it was a bit stressful, but what was the difference with what these guys behind you did?
Well, again, they did it. But again, a lot of credit to Virginia. They've had a great year. I've been so proud of our guys. We earned it to get here. That's what we talked about. We had to earn it to move on, and we got it done.
Fourth straight team you've taken to the Sweet 16, and this is a new-looking team. Why were they a group that could advance?
They bought in from day one. And you got to give it all them the credit and thank God for the opportunity to coach these guys.
All right, I'm gonna let you get out of here in one piece. Let's get Jacoby in here. The towels continue. A kid that grew up going to Tennessee games. You put this team on your back and bringing them to the Sweet 16. What are the emotions like?
I mean, it feels great. We've been working since June. We've been through a lot, so to be able to do this at the end of the year is definitely a blessing, and we deserve it.
Take me into this team's mindset. 71-70, UVA grabs the lead with about 2 minutes to play. How'd you hold them off?
We just wanted to get stops. We the best defensive team in the country, I think. So, yeah, just really getting stops.
What do you think about Iowa State and Chicago in a few days?
Let's go get them.
Hey, Jacoby, I got something for you. Let's throw these towels at these dudes that have been putting them on our heads.
Wow, Evan turning the tables. I love it.